Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
Let's bring in the Moose. I'm very excited. I feel like he's got to do a lot more talking than me because he is at the Mecca. He is at the headquarters of Game Plus Television in downtown Toronto. Ring the bell, you pansy! How is it, Moose? I've never even been there. Anthem Sports, the godfather of what we do at Game Plus. How is it? Yeah, the mothership, literally.
Absolutely. Things are great. Things are humming around here. They're working hard. Everybody, it's funny walking in, some of the guys that are working in the control room, they look at you and they're like, wait a second. Aren't you going to be on the show right away? You got to do the double take. So it's kind of fun, and it's great to come down here and meet everybody. Spend some real time in the Liberty Village and the beautiful studios. So it's a lot of fun.
Good. Well, I'm glad to have you aboard from there. And as I said to you just before we went on, I just want to have fun today, and I'm going to tell you why. It's been a long week. It's been a stressful week, and not a lot of it is within my control. Can you tell them to be quiet back there? So, yeah, I'm just rocking and rolling into the weekend and just wanting to have fun. I told you we had our morning meeting. I went down to the ocean today. If you go to our story at The Rod Pedersen Show, you'll see it. I climbed up on the rocks on the beach, and the lifeguard blew his whistle at me and just gave me this stern look.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
We were on the road with the Rough Riders. Joe Womack was our strength coach, and he was rooming with Ron Estee. I'm coming down the elevator with Joe Womack, and he is so mad. And I'm like, what's wrong, Joe? And he goes, you wouldn't believe what Estee did. He's in his underwear, and he emptied the mini box. Smarties and the Kit Kats, thinking it's free, thinking it was a gift basket. And Joe looks at me, it ain't fun.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
All right, Darrin, you're up. That's what I got in my ears 5 seconds ago. So, good morning. Welcome to a brand new week of the Rod Pedersen Show. Darrin DuPont here, Rod Pedersen back at his headquarters, now working through a technical issue. So you're with me for the first little bit, and that's cool because I am at the center of the world. Anthem Sports and Entertainment's headquarters in beautiful downtown Toronto. You know, downtown Toronto is... Toronto is the center of the universe. Downtown Toronto is literally the center of the universe. The nucleus is here. If you only knew where we were, and if I could actually, I guess I could pick this up and take you on a walk, but I won't. We are downtown Toronto at Anthem Sports HQ, Game Plus. There it is over my shoulder, among all the other offerings at Anthem Sports, the mothership here, right downtown in Maple Leaf Square. So this is pretty cool. Right outside the window, Scotiabank Arena, the waterfront. We are right here, Rogers Center, just down the street. So stay tuned. Here's what we're going to do this morning, and we're going to get Rod's connection fixed, and we're going to get him into the show here in short order. But we're going to recap the weekend, what was hot. Coming up on the show today, you're going to want to stay tuned because Cody Fajardo is coming up on today's program. So stay tuned for that. We also are going to get to the daily poll question for Capital Automall Universal Collision Center. So Clark, Jordan, and the folks back in Liberty Village at the Game Plus control room, here's kind of the map. And I apologize that I'm not there, that I'm here instead, but I had to come see the studios and the big offices downtown. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take care of some business. We're going to go through all of that. We're going to do the poll question. And then we're probably going to slide out of this segment a little bit early, okay? Give Rod a little time to get his connection figured out. Then we're going to bring him back in, have a longer second segment, and then get ready for the interviews, okay? Clark, who's the second guest today besides Cody? That's right, Darrin Bauming from Bonfire Sports in Winnipeg. So Darrin Bauming will be around later on today as well. So let's get rolling. We won't hit the quick six show topics, Horn, Jordan. We won't do that because we're going to save that for Rod. But what we will do is we will tell you the text line is open at 902-518-3033. You can text the show. We'll check those out in the break. I don't have the comments up yet, but we will get those too as well during the commercial break. If we have to go a second segment with you and just us, we will do that as well. We'll recap the weekend. Rod, very high on the Minnesota Wild coming out of the weekend. Another win, this time against Dallas, high-powered team in the Central. What were we telling you about 3 weeks ago? The Minnesota Vikings were one of the teams, or the Minnesota Wild were one of those teams outside of a playoff spot that were going to find themselves into it by the time we got to spring. It's happened faster. They've won 4 in a row, so we'll dissect the Minnesota Wild's resurgence here and 4 wins, including wins over Dallas and Edmonton. So we'll talk about that coming up here this morning. We'll also recap what was a nice weekend in the National Football League. Bad weekend for my Tennessee Titans. Great weekend for intern Braden's Philadelphia Eagles. Also a good weekend for Rod's Dallas Cowboys, the San Francisco 49ers. They're rolling after a big win over Tua and the Dolphins. There's trouble with the Dolphins. We'll talk about that. What's San Francisco going to do at quarterback? We'll talk about that as well. So lots coming up on the program. But to continue to set the table, let's go to the poll question. Let's do that first. Let's get that out of the way. I don't know. I don't think you have both photos, Clark. I think you just have today's photo. But the poll is for Capital Auto Mall, Universal Collision Center. It is our jersey, our retro jersey bracket. It continues. Fridays was the LA Kings versus the Anaheim Ducks. It was closer than Rod anticipated, but the LA Kings moved on in round 1. So now we go to the Central Division, and this one is juicy. The Dallas Stars there on the left side of your screen, the Minnesota Wild on the right side of your screen. Whew, I don't know which one I like better because the Minnesota Wild, while they don't have the N, they've got the old Minnesota colors, which I think is cool. But it's a little bland because they can't use the North Star logo. They've got to use their current Minnesota Wild logo. The Dallas one's interesting because this is the jersey they wore when they were at their height, right? And when they won the Stanley Cup in 1999. So I think for that reason, this is Darian Hatcher, Mike Modano, Dana Zubras, Dallas Stars, Ed Belfour, Dallas Stars. So I think for that reason, I'll vote for the Dallas Stars, but I'm not sure how close this vote's going to be or not, but that's your vote. You can head to Twitter. I hope it's up on Twitter. If it's 56% here on YouTube picking the Dallas Stars. So it's good to have this photo up so that fans and viewers can vote on it right now on the YouTube page. Dallas with a 56% of the vote right now. They have the narrow margin of victory. Okay. How are we doing with Rod? Are we making any progress with RP? Okay, so we're getting pretty close to Rod because what I want to do is I'm trying to think of where we are for time in the hour. We're going to get to a break here early so that we can get set up with a few more things, get Rod into the show, get all of your comments logged in, everything like that. We can check into the text line. We can tell you, and this won't be the official read, but as I take a peek right now, the 50-50 is still open for Tele-Miracle right now. Jackpot is at $100,000. You can go to telemiracle5050.com to get your tickets to support Tele-Miracle. They've done just wonderful things in the community. Their executive director, Richard, was at our event at Grey Cup. It was great to connect with him. And that work that we do between our show and Tele-Miracle and the province is invaluable. So we really appreciate your support on that. Again, telemiracle5050.com. You have to be in the province to enter. So get your friends, your family that are still in Saskatchewan to buy you your tickets and be in for this prize. It's going to shoot up past $100,000, no doubt. So where do we want to start? We'll kill some time here and get Rod locked in. But let's go NFL first. Okay, let's start there because it's the freshest. And let's go to the Philadelphia Eagles, the Tennessee Titans, the early game from Saturday, because there was a lot of big games on the docket. There was that one, was a big one of top 10 NFL teams. The Cincinnati Bengals narrowly edged the Kansas City Chiefs as well. You had San Francisco beating the Miami Dolphins. That was another big one. And that was interesting for its own reasons as well. So let's go back to Tennessee and New England and Philadelphia to start. A.J. Brown was angry. He was angry. And as a Titans fan, all the supporters in Tennessee were upset when they got rid of A.J. Brown at the draft. They thought Treylon Burks would be the guy to replace him, and he's looked pretty good. He really has. He caught that touchdown pass, but on the play, he received the head contact, the targeting penalty. Caught the touchdown, left the game, didn't return. likely out for some time now with a concussion. And Tennessee didn't look the same after that. A.J. Brown went off, scored 2 touchdowns, had over 100 yards, including a 41-yard touchdown where he ran over Christian Fulton. It was an angry run. And afterwards, he talked about his celebration. If you saw it, he was whipping the goalpost with his towel, pulled it off his waist, and he was whipping the goalpost. And then he gave it a hug. And he had to explain afterwards that he said, this is his words, you're going to get your whooping, but I still love you. So he gave that to the Tennessee fans. Philadelphia rolled, and we move on. They tell me that Rod's actually connected.
Yeah,
so
we are.
If you've got him.
You got me?
We got him. And you got the backdrop.
Oh, yeah, you do.
Loaded
Brand
up.
new look.
That?
You didn't have a look. You weren't able to get logged in early as I was. We have a different look here. How about this? How's the week off? What kind of start have we got going on here, Moose? You did a really good job there. I think 8 minutes you've killed on your own. How's it feel?
With no prep, notes, comments. It was pretty good.
Okay. Well, yeah, we're not 100% here. But you notice I just turned the camera a little bit. I'm still in the backyard, but I think it's a little brighter, a little cleaner, a little tighter. So you just sit there, Governor. You just relax for a second. And Jordan, do you have your finger on the quick six show horn? And we'll let her roll here. Thank you. Yeah, we're back. We're rolling. Rolling. I heard Moose say that Cody Fajardo will be with us a little later on here in hour 1, and then Darrin Bauming in hour 2. So I won't belabor you with that. Yes, I do have the Dolphins banner up behind me here, but I got the Florida Panthers banner beside me. And I thought I would just wait until tomorrow when the Panthers visit the Winnipeg Jets, Moose, because that'll be one of the biggest games of the day. So you just sip your coffee, breathe, woosah. And I will just read a couple of things. Yeah, I'll just read a couple things that I got here. By the way, we are live on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and WQEE. But in Dallas, Texas on Sunday, Matt Zuccarello, Kirill Kaprizov, and Frederick Gaudreau scored on Minnesota's 3 shootout attempts, and the Wild beat the Dallas Stars 6-5 after blowing a 4-goal lead in the third period. Now, stay with me on this. I know we have a lot of fans of both teams watching the show. I thoroughly enjoyed that game. It was the showcase game on NHL Network. In a moment, I'll tell you why. But with regards to the Wild, I heard what you said earlier about I'm bullish on the Wild, and I think here they come. Those footprints, or those footsteps you can hear is the Minnesota Wild. They beat Anaheim 5-4 in a shootout Saturday night, so now they've won 4 in a row. Quick hitters here. Monday leftovers in Buffalo. Jack Quinn scored twice to help Buffalo beat San Jose 6-3. In Columbus, Dominic Kubalik and Lucas Raymond scored power play goals, and Detroit beat Columbus 4-2 to end a 3-game losing streak. And in Winnipeg, Morgan Barron and Mark Scheifele scored a pair of quick goals in the third period, and Winnipeg beat Anaheim 5-2. Barron scored with 6:37 left for a 3-2 lead. Scheifele followed up with his team-leading 13th goal with 4:48 to go. Saku Maenalanen and Nate Schmidt each had a goal and a helper for the Jets. Dylan Samberg scored his first NHL goal, and Connor Hellebuck made 28 saves. The Jets now 2-1 on a 4-game homestand, and as we said, the Florida Panthers provide the opposition on Tuesday. Here's my point. I don't know what your Tuesday sports viewing was, Darrin. I didn't talk to you a whole lot, or your Sunday sports viewing. I didn't talk to you a whole lot, but mine sat and watched the NHL Network, that I'm sitting here going, hell of a game. Everything that Minnesota shot went in. So it was one of those games where you wouldn't normally in Canada be able to watch a Minnesota-Dallas game on a Sunday afternoon. You wouldn't, right? That's the beauty of the NHL Network. But I'm sitting there going, I know this voice. I know this voice. It's Mike Johnson. The Mike Johnson. My boy. Doing the color with E.J. Raddick doing the play-by-play on NHL Network. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. They would fly those Cowboys out there on a Sunday afternoon to Texas to do a game. Wait a minute. They get to the intermission, and Ken Danico is sitting at the panel desk, and then they throw it over to E.J. Raddick and Mike Johnson. This isn't about the broadcast, but those guys were in a studio in Secaucus, New Jersey, calling the game off a monitor. But I didn't even notice. You know what I mean? Like, I did not, as a viewer, I didn't notice. So
Pros.
I guess my point here is they're pros. Yeah, but I'm like, man, 90% of the fun of doing these games was going on the road and being with the teams and seeing the different cities and everything. If that's the way this is going to be now, no thanks. But anyways, I want to say this about the Winnipeg Jets. And for some reason, it's a lot easier to talk and kill time when you don't have to, like I'm doing right now. What you just did, the da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I've done it, man. It's not easy, and it's not fun. But anyways, the Jets, I read these game notes from NHL, the PR department, and I just love them. And there's usually one or two that just stick in my cranium. And one is that this doesn't really mean anything other than to the people of Winnipeg, but the Jets are one of 7 teams in the NHL this year to record multi-goal comeback victories this year. So bravo for them. The Jets are apparently who we didn't think they were. They're better. But here's one, and we're going to have to break here before long. We have 3 minutes. But Dallas is home to Toronto Tuesday night, and you probably know this, but Mitch Marner goes into the game with a 19-game point streak for the Leafs, and Jason Robertson goes into the game with an 18-point streak for the Leafs, or for the Stars. It's the first time in NHL history the two teams go head-to-head with players on 18-game or more point streak. Like, I can't wait for Tuesday. There's some great games tonight, but I can't wait for Tuesday. That's the kind of stuff that gets my juices flowing. How about, and I don't even care for either team. How about you?
Yeah, it does. And it did on, Saturday night watching the Leafs in Tampa. And that was a marquee matchup, a rematch of the playoff series. And, the game means something. And then you got Marner, going for the streak. And he gets it shorthanded early. And that's another reason to be excited. So, yeah, it's going to be fun to watch Toronto and Dallas and watching both those point streaks because Robertson has been just on a tear. And Marner's streak has been fun, too.
Clearly, I guess both sides knew what they were doing in Dallas. Robertson holding out, and then the Stars eventually paying him. But I guess my point is, you said to me middle part of last week, just do what makes you happy, which quite frankly is the remedy for self-care, and happiness in life. Do happy things. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to delve headfirst into the National Hockey League because it's what makes me the happiest. And it worked. And it's nice to be able to just sit on the couch and watch a game and not have to analyze or be expected to analyze. You know what I mean? Just enjoy a game, which was on the heels of Saturday night's Oilers-Habs game. It started out slow. If anybody watched it on Hockey Night in Canada, they dropped the puck at 7 Eastern at Rogers Centre. And I think it was 0-0 after the first period, maybe 1-0. But it was like 4-3 Oilers after 2, just goals. Bing, 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 bing. And I guess that's the point I wanted to get to today. The hockey this year is really, really good. And I know people say, we say that every year. I know, but it was about 10 years ago that we said hockey's broken. It's the focus of my commentary today, where I said, I don't know what was going on 10 years ago that made me think hockey was broken, but we all thought hockey was broken. I think Sid the Kid was out with a concussion, as were a bunch of stars, and clutching and grabbing was a big problem, and now all that's gone. The Stars are playing. They tinkered with the rules. We might be in the golden age of NHL hockey right now because every night the games are amazing. So gnaw on that, Moose. Good work kicking this thing off for 8 minutes, and we'll get to the rest of the Quick Six Show topics when we return. It is the RP Show. We are on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and, of course, WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
I gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital Ford Lincoln. We have a great selection of brand new F-150s in stock. Drive it off the lot today. Reserve an incoming unit or pre-order the perfect vehicle for you. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital Ford Lincoln, making back to busy easy.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might injure your back in a way that causes nerve damage or partial loss of mobility. Take safer steps with WorkSafeSask.ca.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
beat. I gotta hit the beat.
All right, welcome back. It is the RP Show, and I see a lot of people tuning in. They want to catch the Cody Fajardo interview. The Saskatchewan Roughriders quarterback will be with us later on here in hour 1, 12:40 Eastern-ish, 11:40 Sask time. We got the Moose with us. Darrin Moose Dupont is going to jump right back into where we are at. But I will say this. There's a lot of NFL questions coming in today. There are certainly a lot of hockey questions. We're just going to stay on point with what we normally do. But I will say this about Cody Fajardo, and the number to write us is on the screen, 902-518-3033. I'm not going to grill him at all, but it was big news when people learned that producer Clark, lined up Cody Fajardo to come on the air. All I'm going to ask him for is an update. That's it. And if fans want to write in questions for him, I'll certainly vet them and then ask Cody. But I just, as soon as the season was ended, we were exchanging messages, and he said he couldn't wait to come on. I don't know what he's going to say. I don't think he's the kind of guy that's going to try and make anybody look bad or be huffing and puffing. He really hasn't yet. I'm sure he'll probably talk about his football future in the Canadian Football League, whether it's with Saskatchewan or any other team. What do you expect of the interview of Cody Fajardo coming up later on this hour?
Yeah, I expect a little bit of that. I expect, Cody to be polite and diligent, and very respectful, and all the same things we've got to know. I think, part of it is what's going to be great is it's been so long since you and him have been able to catch up on the air. So I think it's just going to be a nice little catch up. How are things going? And I think he's going to tell everybody that he's got a lot of football left to offer and that he's not done. And he's going to let the world know that he still wants to play football, still wants to be a starting quarterback, and still has it in him. And he's putting in the work this offseason. That's what I expect to hear.
That's coming up in a little less than 20 minutes' time. We appreciate Cody coming on. And I'll get back around to the CFL stuff in a moment, but there's some Pretty cool comments coming in from the viewers. Carlos in Indianapolis says, Mr. Irrelevant looked good against those Dolphins. He's talking about Brock Purdy, the backup quarterback for San Francisco. They called him Mr. Irrelevant because he was the very last player taken in the NFL draft, and he led the 49ers to a win over the Miami Dolphins, snapping the Dolphins' win streak at 5 games. So, yeah, we say it a million times on here. You want to spit talk somebody? You want to talk down to somebody? You don't think it doesn't motivate Brock Purdy that he's called Mr. Irrelevant? He's sitting there going, oh, yeah? Oh, yeah? Just watch. And look what he did with the San Francisco 49ers. Shane Mellinson, one of our partners from Deer Valley Golf, writes in, says, looks great. Thank you. We're just cleaning it up a little bit here behind me. And as Ryan in Saratoga, New York, writes in and says, hit the like button. Hit the like button. Couple things. Yes, sir. I have to mention this for our many Oilers fans that watch. Former Edmonton Oilers head scout Barry Fraser, whose shrewd draft picks helped build one of hockey's greatest dynasties in Edmonton, has died at age 82, the team announced. Barry Fraser is credited with drafting Mark Messier, Yari Curry, Glenn Anderson, Kevin Lowe, Paul Coffey, and Grant Fuhr. The team went on to win 5 Stanley Cups from 1984 to 1990. One of our regular viewers is Bill Tuelli, and you know that, Darren. We hear from him. He lives out on Vancouver Island, but he was the Oilers PR guy through the 80s. And so with my dad having worked 26 years in the NHL as a scout, Barry Fraser was just regarded as we're not worthy, the scout of all scouts. And to be honest, you could have made a Stanley Cup finalist with the team that the Oilers drafted that didn't end up playing in the NHL, like the Tim Tisdales and the Dale Durkatches and the Todd Strube, who only got into 5 games because the Oilers were so good with Barry's draft picks that these guys didn't get a chance to play. Like, you literally did not want to be drafted by the Oilers in the 80s. I know that sounds really hard for people to understand, but you didn't, because the team was so good you'd never get a chance to play there. Alan May, same thing, our good friend. So condolences to the Fraser family, obviously, but the Edmonton Oilers. And Barry Fraser, he's the GOAT, man. He's the GOAT. And I think that's why they like having me on here, because I'm old. And I know these things about these guys. And I feel they need to be appropriately honored. Speaking of, by the way, the Kinsmen 47 online raffle is live now. Tele-Miracle 47 coming up. Raffle starting at $100,000 with the winner taking half. You can go to telemiracle5050.com right now to buy your tickets. You just have to be over the age of 19 and physically in the province of Saskatchewan to do it. And the draw date is Friday, December the 16th. By the way, that got me thinking. We got a message here from Stephen from North Dakota. Listen to this. He was written the 902 text line. He says, greetings and hallucination. From 9 degrees Celsius, 9 degrees Fahrenheit, Crosby, North Dakota. Your nice guy advertising encouraged me to get Kinsmen raffle tickets while in Estevan on Saturday. The Tower Pizza was awesome. Because what do we say? Tower Pizza is king. And then says, will Rodgers go to the Vikings like Favre and beat every NFL team? He tagged it with that. But we got listeners and viewers that are driving across the border into Saskatchewan to buy tickets for the Kinsmen Tele-Miracle 50-50. And we got others who have yet to get off their couch yet. So let's get with it and do it from their phone. You know what I mean? Cody Fajardo coming up next segment, just so you know. I'm not going to go deep into the NFL at all. For those that just tuned in, we had a connection issue here. Darren had to kill the first 8 minutes of the show, and I don't really know how you did it or what you talked about for the most part. I will say this for our poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center. It is day 5 of our NHL Reverse Retro bracket for the jerseys. And so far, what do we got? The LA Kings have moved on to round 2. The Vegas Golden Knights, the New York Rangers. Help me out. Florida Panthers.
Florida,
the Baby Blues. Yeah, my team. Today's poll question is we're pitting look at this. The Dallas Stars retros against the Minnesota North Stars Retros on the right for the viewers that can see it. Now, I just checked the results. Clark was good enough to put it up on YouTube. 52% are voting for the Minnesota Wild. I thought we talked about this last week. If we can bring the Moose back on. I was starting to get worked up because I wanted to see that old Dallas Stars logo and the black on the left win. Then I thought, wait a minute, I don't care that much. So I voted for Dallas, but I do like both. And it's pretty cool that the North Stars have such an imprint on really cool retro jerseys, which incidentally, you're going to see the Florida Panthers banner tomorrow. Today you're seeing the old Dolphins 1972 Dan Marino, Bob Greasy logo here. These suckers are on sale 50% off because they're retro. And I'm like, dude, didn't anybody tell you? Retro's in. But whatever. I'll pay cool. 50. Yeah, I'll pay 50% off. What the hell? We have had strategic planning sessions. I don't mind saying our focus moving forward are going to be the National Hockey League and the Canadian Football League because we are a Canadian show. At the end of the day, that's what we care about, and that's what our viewers care about. But they all kind of morph in a way. So my third point is actually Nathan Rourke. You're seeing that the star BC Lions quarterback is now on a whirlwind tour of NFL teams. I'm getting some messages from NFL teams while Indy was one. They said, yep, Rourke's coming through here. Las Vegas Raiders, Indianapolis Colts, Baltimore Ravens, Minnesota Vikings are the four that I've seen reported on Nathan Rourke. And my question to you is this. You, Darren, and the viewers, what is a reasonable expectation for Nathan Rourke with this NFL tour? Because you never really know what the workouts entail. I know John Chick went down, worked out with the Vikings as a D-end, and he's like, I literally was on the field for 5 minutes. I could have sent him tape. It was a waste of my time, their time. I don't know what they're going to do with Rourke. But let's just say they offer him a minimum salary, no guarantees. Do you sign? Let's just say the Raiders. And they got Derek Carr there as one of the top 5 highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL right now, which tells you they're probably not moving on from Carr. And they can't, but let's just say it's Vegas. They say, Nathan, we really like you. Here's a contract and a $50,000 signing bonus. What do you do if you're him?
You sign.
I think
really
so.
Quickly.
But why do you say that?
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
Because Nathan is young. And if it doesn't work out, you can always come back and try the CFL again. Now, there's no guarantees that you're going to come back to the CFL and pick up where you left off. Because situations change, things change, teammates change, you change as a person. But if you're a football player, I'm guessing the NFL is your goal. And for Nathan, who played U.S. college football, NCAA football, the NFL would be his goal. And so he wants to prove that he can play there. Look, was it just last weekend that the Chicago Bears were forced to start Nathan Peterman at quarterback? Surely if Nathan Peterman is starting at quarterback, Nathan Rourke can play in the NFL. That's what he's thinking. So he just needs a shot. He just needs to get to a camp where he can actually compete. Look at Chris Streveler is at a camp and now signed and now playing with the New York Jets. Now he's not getting on the field a whole lot, but he's playing. And Nathan Rourke, star in the Canadian Football League, he'll get an opportunity to sign and he'll stick. And I just don't know how much opportunity he'll get actually on the field, but he'll have his audition, and it's up to him to make the most of it. I would sign in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Well, and by the way, so Todd Pinkney, one of our P1s, writes in and he says, go on tour, meet the teams, do your workouts, and then come back and play a full year in the CFL. He needs more experience. Now, that's what Pinks is saying. I don't agree. If they push a contract in front of Nathan Rourke at the end of any of these workouts, I think you sign it. I don't think you wait. And as a guy who's been around the sun a couple times, about the same age as Pinks, I'm surprised we disagree on this. I say, go for it. Take the chance. To be honest, in my career, my life, I've gone for it, and I've been kicked right in the lights punched out. But at least I went for it. I don't have any regrets career-wise. Not one. Which, by the way, we're going to have to fill out this next hour with the NBA. It was NLL opening weekend. Connor Bedard had 5 points. But it's last night. Pats routed the Oil Kings. But I was with a bunch of football guys last night. I called you on my way home, so you know that. But I was here in Fort Lauderdale. It was the Cardinal Gibbons High School team. It was all football guys. And it was kind of funny. You don't understand, man. Cody's probably logged in right here right now, and he would get it. Yeah, from Nevada. It is all football. You don't understand. It's not like hockey in Canada. It's all football. One guy's kid had just committed to University of South Florida. He's on his way up there to sign this week. It's all about what coaches are going where, what players are going where, what recruits are going where. It's head spinning. And it's funny because one of the guys said to me, so what, you played in the National Hockey League? I'm like, nope. Yeah, but you were a player, right? And I'm like, I was a goalie, but not a good one. But were you a fighter? I'm like, no, goalie. You see why the Florida Panthers are like, Rod, who can we put on your show? Nobody asks to interview us, the NHL team around here, because they don't care about hockey around here. It is beyond head spinning what football is. And I often wonder, some of these were Chris Jones guys. They all know Chris Jones. But I often wonder what the Americans are like when they come to Canada and they're plopped into the hockey atmosphere, which is that, all hockey all the time. But that's what I'm used to. Down here, it was head spinning, man. I was just trying to keep up. And, it was a poker night. So I said, guys, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I don't drink and I don't smoke and I don't carouse and I don't gamble. So I guess I'm no fun. And they all laughed. I said, yeah, you're about 10 years too late. And they said, you're safe. I said, that is true. There's nobody safer than me. Anyways, Cody Fajardo's coming up next. We'll see you in hour 2, Moose.
See you then.
All right, can't wait for this chat. And it's coming up on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
If you slip and fall, or you might injure your back in a way that causes nerve damage or partial loss of mobility. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
I gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
beat. I gotta hit the beat.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM-certified pre-owned trucks. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big, and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
I gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
beat. I gotta hit the beat.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Hey, Rod Rod Squad? Now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
It is the RP Show, and the text line's open, 902-518-3033 to reach us here in the studio. Allie Hicks writing from Sherwood Park, Alberta. She says, good morning, RP and DD. So happy you're having Cody on today. Thank you, and have a great week. Well, thank you, Allie. We are just as happy, and let's bring this cat in. Cody Fajardo. I want to tell you, it's one of our biggest interviews we've ever had, but he's just my guy. He's just my guy, the pride of Brea, California, former Oakland Raider, Argo Lion, and for now, Saskatchewan Roughrider. What's up, Cody? How you doing, my man?
Good. How you doing, RP? Man, that list seems to be getting longer and longer as the years go on.
It's called experience. Man. Hey, how, by the way, how's the offseason been? How'd it feel to get home and get settled there with your little guy and everything?
Yeah, it's been truly incredible. Just kind of focusing on me and my family and the little one, and trying to be the best dad I can be, trying to be the best husband I can be. There's a lot of uncertainty right now going forward, but all I can do is try and be the best person and the best version of myself. And that's been my goal. And the one, I guess, silver lining of not being in the playoffs is I got a jump start on my off-season workouts. You know, I'm starting a month earlier. Usually I don't start till about early January when we run into the playoffs. So that's a positive.
Yeah, okay. Well, it is. And, you know, it's funny you say that. So I guess we might as well get into it. I mean, you and I didn't talk really all year other than exchange the odd text. But I had heard from the football people outside the Riders that you were hurt really early on in the year. That's what I heard. And I didn't want to ask you. But what was your injury situation all year long? How were you feeling?
Yeah, I had a grade 2 MCL tear, which really limited my mobility. And the MCL ligament, I've had it before in both knees, and it just affects your side-to-side running. You're straight, top end speed. You can run vertically, but in football, as you know, it's all about changing direction. And putting a clunky knee brace on a mobile quarterback is not ideal, and it wasn't ideal for me. But I wanted to be out there with my guys, and I knew I've been able to play through that injury before. And it's unfortunate. I didn't have my best year, and there's no excuses for that. I watched every game at the end of the year, and I watched just about every throw, every drop back, and there's a lot of things I could have done better. And I'm going to learn a lot from last year, and I hope that this tough time will help me become a much better quarterback, and that's the goal when you go through trials and tribulations like that.
It will. Well, there's no – you know that. And, a lot of people – I didn't know what you were going to say today. What I told people was – Cody can come on and say whatever he wants. That's the idea of this show, is it's a safe place for everybody. So I guess two things. When I was at Grey Cup week, your people, your friends that I was around said, what is out there is nowhere near what is really going on. And I didn't even know what they meant by that, and I didn't want to dig into it. But what would you like to say about how the season went down and where you're going as a football player?
Yeah, it was a tough year for everybody in that locker room, not just me. We had such high hopes and aspirations, and I think our week 1 team that we put on the field when at the time it was Hamilton coming back off of back-to-back Grey Cup appearances. We had a strong football team, and just wasn't our year, and it just didn't line up for us. And it's unfortunate because there's a lot of guys that I built incredible relationships with. And over the course of the year, you don't get to be out there playing with them, and guys weren't able to be out there for us. So what I will say is the way that it ended, it hurt my feelings. It was a tough way to go out, but it happens. It happens in the CFL. Ricky Ray told me, who's a CFL Hall of Famer, he told me, at some point in your career, you're going to get benched as a starter, but don't let that define you as a person. Don't let it define you as a quarterback. And, I've thought about that heavily these last couple weeks and months. And I know that it's not going to define me. I got a lot of good football left in me. And for me personally, I just hope that there's somebody out there that wants me, not just likes me. I think that's going to be my goal going into this offseason and this free agency is I want to hear a team that really wants me and not just, hey, we like you and we want you here. We really want you here. So that's my goal.
I know how tight you are with Ricky, and I don't know if you've talked to him lately or not, but I would ask him, if you haven't, ask him about the day he was traded from Edmonton to Toronto, because I swear he would have gone, I'm sorry, what? You did what? So he's been through it. He's been through what you're going through. Would you have done anything different, Cody, this year? And obviously you've had some time to reflect. Would you have done much different?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think one of the things I wish I would have done was been a little bit more upfront and honest with my injuries, maybe taking a little bit of time off and let the younger guys play, let Mason Fine play, let Jake play, let them get some experience where we would possibly have to need them down the road, but also have me be able to come back at 100%. I felt like there was things that I was trying to do that I just couldn't do with my injury. And I'm trying to gut out everything I can and be out there because I love playing football. And one of my mottos is you never know when your last down is, but I just wish I would have taken some time off, maybe a game or two, and then just get back to 100% and go out there and feeling like myself again. The COVID game didn't help me at all either. My knee, it helped a little bit, but physically I just felt like I lost my in shape. I lost a lot of weight that I was carrying that can help protect me taking hits. So it just was one of those years that I look back on, and I told everybody, maybe one day I'll write a book, and I'm not going to sell a book, but maybe just have it for my own keepsake, because there was a lot of things that went on behind closed doors that was truly remarkable what that locker room was able to go through. Mentally, that locker room never broke. And that's a team that you want to play for, and that's a team you want to be around, is guys that when you are losing 4, 5, 6 straight, guys never were pointing the fingers at each other. We were just happy to be around one another, and that helped it be a little bit easier. But we're in a win now business, and what have you done for me lately business, so I get it. It's just unfortunate that it always has to start with the quarterback, but I get it now, and it was tough. It was a tough way to end the year after giving so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you what, with regards to writing that, it can be very cathartic to do it. So I would encourage you to do it, even if nobody ever sees it, for sure. I think the $64,000 question is, do you have an inkling where you'll be playing in 2023? Because if you've noticed, the Saskatchewan Roughriders don't seem real settled at that quarterback position right now. If you were to leave, I mean, I would think the door is still open there, or what are you thinking? I shouldn't speak for you.
Yeah, honestly, there's been no communication between me and the team, which is unfortunate. I would just like a sense of direction, right? Whether they want me back or they don't want me back, just so my family and I can plan. But there's a few teams that I have my eye on, and I made my wish list, so to speak, with some teams on it, and my agent has those. And so when it becomes the appropriate time and it's not a tampering situation, hopefully my agent can reach out to some of those teams and let them know how I'm interested in there. And I think I'll line up, and there's some good opportunities to go to some teams in the league. And there's also a good opportunity to come back and play for the Riders. But until there's communication there, my hopes aren't really high. But a lot can change from now until February. But I know that my book isn't ending. My football book isn't ending. It's a lot tougher situation now with having a kid and Laura working, and it's going to be a little bit different for us. So the right situation for me is what's really going to be enticing to me. There's some things that I won't come back for in terms of certain teams, because I'm here with my family, and that just has changed over the time. As a husband, you can get through the long distance, but now having a little one, it's really got to line up where you can be in the right situation and everybody can be happy. Because mentally, surprisingly, it was a lot easier than the 2021 season. 2021 was an extremely difficult season for me, and we went to the West Final. But last year, having our son Luca and having my wife up there and having our dog Soli up there with us, yes, we weren't winning games, but I felt like my mental capacity was the best it's ever been in terms of losing football games. So I want my support system around me coming up, and that's going to be big for me in the off season and going into my next team.
Good. Well, I know for a fact that you'll be playing football in 2023, but I don't know where. But that's why I just know. That's why I sent you the note, because I know what it feels like when you think the whole world's on your back, and the fact is they're not. They're just the ones you hear from. So I wanted you to hear from the supporting people, and that includes me and all the people that love you, for sure, because there's a bigger group than you know. So, Cody, happy holidays. Merry Christmas. My best to Laura and your dad and the whole family. And good luck, man, in 2023.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, RP. It's been quite a ride, but I appreciate you, and I'm excited for the future and excited for what to come. And I appreciate you having me on the phone. And like I always tell you, you've had my back from day one, and those are the guys I want to stay close to. And so I appreciate you having my back through thick and thin.
You will emerge so much stronger for this. I think you already are, man, and that is the good news. All right, Cody, thanks for the time.
Thanks, RP. Yep, talk to you soon. Happy holidays.
Cody Fajardo, veteran quarterback, Grey Cup champion, joining us from Reno, Nevada. We'll be back with a sports update and more. It is the RP Show on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM certified pre-owned trucks. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might fracture your wrist, resulting in a lifetime of painful arthritis. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Hacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Okay. Oh, yeah, we don't have Moose here, do we? I am just Instagramming the interview. How about that? So, yeah, we're live. That's Robbie's. If you're ever down, check it out. A guy that I grew up with. Oh, he was so funny. I assume he still is. Adrian Treelevin. I remember him doing air guitar to Cuts Like a Knife one time in our basement. About 1985. Anyways, he's coming down here to Florida. He's like, are you going to be at the Dolphins game Christmas Day? I said, that's a hard no, Adrian. But thanks for asking. But he says, what are things to do down there? That's what made me think of it. I said, the Keys, go to Robbie's, go to the Everglades, Alligator Tour, go see the Versace Mansion, which I've turned into a hotel at South Beach. A lot of things to do. I will get into the sports update here. I think I have time. From my cousin Christine in Medicine Hat. Thanks, Chris. She says she likes the new Hockey Fights Cancer ad. Appreciate you for saying that. Hope you're watching on Game Plus TV today, by the way. Chris, hope you're staying warm. Ken Friedman's watching from the US of A and says, great interview. From Rick Haglin, awesome interview, Rod and Cody. From Barkley, good interview. Thanks, Roddy. Vibes of a bounce back year for Cody. From BW, he says, first time hearing him. Bring him to Edmonton. From Ryan in Toronto, that was a fantastic interview. From Kevin the Medium, he says, what an intelligent young man. Wherever you end up, we'll be lucky to have you. Right? I'll pass that along to him. I'll shoot him a text. We were talking about just the football culture, by the way, in America. Allie's watching in Texarkana, Texas. And I've probably slept by here. She basically said, it's worth it. She goes, it's really sad and I hate it. LOL. If you were in Texas where everybody wears Under Armour, everybody, all sizes, of course, but everybody wears Under Armour. It's all football all the time. She says, I should have been Canadian. LOL. That's one thing I've learned down here why I think the Panthers have been so nice to me. There are not a lot of hockey guys. And tomorrow we'll have the Panthers on the wall behind me. Last minute of play in hour one. Sports update, the Toronto Raptors try to extend their home win streak to 4 games tonight as they host the Boston Celtics. Raps coming off a 121-108 victory over the Orlando Magic on Saturday. But forget about them. The Atlanta Hawks are home tonight to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Going to have our way with them. Hello to everybody listening on WQEE Metro Atlanta. Former Blue Jays slugger Fred McGriff was elected into the Baseball Hall of Fame Sunday night. The first baseman, nicknamed the Crime Dog, hit 493 home runs for 6 teams. His first 5 seasons of his 19-year career were spent in Toronto. Kinsmen Tele-Miracle 47 brings you the sports update. We'll tell you more about them coming back next hour. Darrin Bauming is going to be joining us from NHL.com to chat Jets. I think there's a lot coming out of this Fajardo interview, so stick around. We'll be right back after this brief pause on Game Plus and the Big Peach, WQE.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might fracture your wrist, resulting in a lifetime of painful arthritis. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop staffed by PGA of Canada professionals is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM-certified pre-owned trucks. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big, and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy.
We were on the road with the Rough Riders. Joe Womack was our strength coach, and he was rooming with Ron Estee. I'm coming down the elevator with Joe Womack, and he is so mad. And I'm like, what's wrong, Joe? And he goes, you wouldn't believe what Estee did. He's in his underwear, and he emptied the mini box. Smarties and the Kit Kats, thinking it's free, thinking it was a gift basket. And Joe looks at me, it ain't funny.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Yes, it is. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Hour 2 of your favorite daytime sports and entertainment talk show, the RP Show, coming your way from South Florida. One half of us, the other in Tirana, the Big Smoke. Darrin Moose DuPont joining us from the Game Plus television headquarters in, what did you say was the trendy area of Toronto? I'm not up on my Toronto geography. What is it?
Give me 1 second here. So Liberty Village, that's the
right.
area they said, new trendy, and that's where the Game Plus control room is, and that's where everybody is down there. I'll say hello, and I'm sorry I'm not there. They say Toronto's the center of the universe, but this is the center of the universe. Like, this is the corporate offices at Maple Leaf Square. These are the photos I sent you today. So we're at Maple Leaf Square, cool. Right outside Scotiabank Arena and right at the waterfront here. So very cool spot.
Nice spot. All right. Well, say hey to everybody there for me. So, yeah, it's not like people think that we just come on and blab sports every day, and we actually do, but there is a little bit of planning behind it. So our crew was talking over the weekend, and we're gonna focus a little more National Hockey League and Canadian Football League because it is Canada after all. And I want to tell you, tonight in the National Hockey League, there are 6 games. Bruce Cassidy makes his return to Boston. He comes in with the Vegas Golden Knights to take on the number 1 team in the NHL, his Bruins, who are now coached by Jim Montgomery. That's, well, you would think the game of the night. Every game's the game of the night, depending on the market, right? The St. Louis Blues are at the New York Rangers tonight. Colorado is at Philadelphia. The Flyers are clearly who we thought they were. Ovi and the Washington Capitals skate into Edmonton. Alberta's alive with the sound of hockey tonight. The Arizona Coyotes are at Calgary. And from what I understand, the Coyotes, apparently it's retro reverse for both teams tonight. That's what I'm hearing. Can somebody tell me if that's true? That will be worth tuning in. Arizona and Calgary wearing their reverse retros tonight. And then Montreal to Vancouver. That is a wonderful spate of hockey games there, my friend. We should take this moment to tell you that the Capital Automall Universal Collision Center poll question is this. It's day 5 of our NHL Reverse Retro Jersey bracket. And today's question is, who's got the better reverse retro out of these 2 teams? The Dallas Stars or the Minnesota Wild? And have a good long look at him, and I want you to really think about this before you press the button. Because I've misvoted a couple. I've misfired a couple of times, Darrin. And I'm starting to get into this. I told you that I didn't care about the jerseys before, but you look at that, it just tells you that the Minnesota North Stars have the lockdown on the coolest jerseys, period. They just do. The coolest retros. But I don't like the fact that the Wild has their jersey, their logo on the green and gold jersey. But the Dallas Stars would own it, that old stylized N. So if we can bring the Moose back in, you can vote on that. Last I saw, the Minnesota Wild were leading by, was 52% of the vote. And I think it's just because the fans love the green and gold. But we love that North Star N more than anything, but it's Dallas that owns it. So anyways, it's fun to talk about. And I guess you follow, I think, a lot of the same social media accounts as me. Like, the fans are really getting swept up in this. It's fun to watch. It's fun. It's better than fighting on Twitter about Trump and Biden and Trudeau. Don't you think?
Way better. Way better. And they're getting into it. And I look at this, and I was saying before you came on at the beginning of the show that Dallas Star jersey, that's Darian Hatcher, Mike Modano, Dana Zubris, Joe Newendike. That's the Stanley Cup jersey, right? Or that era with that logo and everything. So cool. And if I'm Minnesota, there was two things that should have happened. Either they got to ask Dallas for permission in the retros to use that N, or if Dallas owns it, they should put it on the retro jersey and be the Minnesota North Stars for a day and shove it down the Wild's throat. I think that would be pretty cool for the little rivalry. Have some fun. But I voted Dallas, and I think on Twitter, Dallas was winning by a little bit. YouTube, Minnesota was winning. So you and I might have to count the votes at the end of the day.
A count back. We might have to have a count back. I knew, and of course, I watched these two teams yesterday. This is what we were talking about an hour ago. I was like, what a fantastic hockey game. And shout out to Allie in Texas, who, as she said, she's sick of the football culture in Texas, and that's why she comes to this show every day, because she loves the NHL talk, as do we. But I just want to say something about third jerseys. I don't know. Maybe I'll get time. The Panthers are home Thursday and Sunday night, so maybe I'll get time to chat with their people about who designed these jerseys. But I will guarantee you it's not the NHL. It has to be the individual teams. And unless things change, but overall things don't really change. And when we came up with the third jersey with the Rough Riders back in the day, the neon green with the watermelon colors and the wheat sheaf, we were so proud. We were so proud to wear those. And when I say that, I say we as the players, me being one of them. And then so many people crapped all over them. And that was like 20, what would it have been? Do we even know? 08, 9, 10, right around there?
Yeah.
Not 11, maybe 2011, but a long time ago, over 10 years. And it hurt. I mean, I was a different person back then. And I probably, speaking of hurt feelings, before we move on to the other topics here in hour two, we should address for a second what Cody Fajardo said last hour. Clearly, you were riveted to the interview like everybody else. And across the CFL, the people were that, number one, the team have not spoken, he and the Rough Riders, since the end of the season. And two, the way the season ended hurt his feelings. He's being honest about that. He's going to be ripped apart for that too, obviously. But what was your take on the interview?
He just wants to know, right? Like all of us. We just want to know where we're headed, what we're doing, what the future looks like. Are we moving on? Are we coming back? Are we doing this thing? What does the future hold? That's what we want to know. And that's all Cody wants to know. He wants to know if he's going to be a Saskatchewan Rough Rider. He wants to know if he's going to hit free agency, who we might be playing with, what his options are for next year. Because he needs to make decisions for himself and his family and be in the mindset as he's entering his offseason about, what am I playing for here? What am I training for? Who am I training to be with? Last offseason, he was throwing around with Shaq Evans, and they were getting together for offseason workouts. Should he do that? Should he pick up the phone and call Shaq? He might not even be playing with him next year. So I think at the end of the day, you just want to know. And when there's a lot of hurt in the back, sometimes you just got to have the hard conversation and deal with it and find out where you stand so you can move forward.
Well, who knows? Somebody wrote in here earlier, we have not even addressed what is the hottest topic really in the CFL, is the fact that 4, maybe 5, potentially 6 candidates to be the offensive coordinator of the Saskatchewan Roughriders have turned them down. I had a text last night that Pete Costanza, the Argonauts receivers coach, hadn't told the Riders yet, but he was going to inform them that he's not interested or he's pulling his name. So somebody wrote in here and said, well, they don't even know who their offensive coordinator is yet. Maybe they want to wait to make that hire before they talk with Cody. Who knows? Tough stuff for Cody to deal with. I've got people writing me here saying what a nice guy what a great guy he is. And he is all that. But it don't matter. It do not matter to Rider fans, or for that matter, most fans in sports. They don't care whether you're nice or not. Did you win? So that interview will be dissected, I think, endlessly over the next 24, 48, 72 hours, depending what else comes up in the Canadian Football League. We'll come back around on this Nathan Rourke stuff for those that just tuned in, particularly you BC viewers, where we air on TELUS, Channel 924, across the beautiful province of British Columbia. Nathan Rourke, we understand, has 4 tryouts in the National Football League, and that's just getting started. We assume there will be more, right, Darren? Las Vegas Raiders, Indianapolis Colts, Baltimore Ravens, Minnesota Vikings. I'll say to the time, I said to Darren, if he gets presented a contract, no matter for how much, by any one of these teams, what should he do? And we both agreed that he should sign it. I'll spend a minute on the NFL here, and then we're going to move on to other things. But the Sunday night game, Malik Hooker returned a fumble 38 yards for a touchdown against his former team during a 33-point fourth quarter for the Dallas Cowboys, propelling them to a 54-19 rout of the Indianapolis Colts. That was the most points in a quarter for Dallas since 1991, which incidentally is the first year I started cheering for the Dallas Cowboys. And that was obviously my highlight. We're not going to go deep on the National Football League moving forward. We did talk about the Dolphins' loss at San Fran last hour. But what did the Titans do? What did they do? Did they cover? Did they beat it?
No, they got smoked. And luckily, I talked about that off the top. A.J. Brown exercised the demons. So I don't need to talk about the Titans. We did that at the beginning. What was interesting about the Dolphins, I know you mentioned it, I don't think the Dolphins converted 1 third down in the entire game. And it was a 1-possession game with 2 minutes to go, or around the 2-minute warning, until it all broke loose at the end. So Miami hung in despite not being able to get anything going. This will be a much-needed bump in their radar, like in their road, because now they know what they need to address. And they've got some real concerns to address, and they'll address them. Mike McDaniels will address them, and I think they'll be a better team for it.
It was interesting. We were discussing, I don't mind divulging this at all. You, me, and our peeps talking about the future of the show, the direction, and the content. And as I sit here and look at the two of us right now, it is very similarly, pardon the interruption. And when we started this show 4 years ago, what was it? And it wasn't planned, but it was SportsCenter meets David Letterman, meets Howard Stern. It was all those things wrapped up into one, and it was great. And it's changed to this now. And I was saying to Serena, like literally everywhere you go, you see Mike Wilbon and Tony Kornheiser up on the television somewhere. I'm like, there's got to be room in Canada for this. If these two guys that have been around for 100 years, and they're both awesome, can sit and talk American sports, I think we can talk about Canadian sports. And that's the focus of this show. That's where we're at, and I like it. And I know you do too. It was Rick Sawatsky who wrote in earlier. He's in Martinsville. And for one, he says, I would think the Riders are waiting to fill their offensive coordinator position before moving on to a quarterback. He goes, does who they hire have a bearing on your decision? Yeah, because they talk about everything. And they should. You would hope. I shouldn't say that. They should talk about everything. Successful organizations do that. And Rick votes, by the way, for the Dallas Retro jersey. Your mom texts in, Darren. Paula. She says, awesome interview with Cody. What a nice guy. Great show, as always. So we have the vote of support from Paula Dupont. Janice Owen, watching in Saskatchewan, writes in and says, thanks for having Cody on. He's only second behind Doubles as my favorite Rider quarterback. Wilf in Steinbach, Manitoba is watching on Game Plus television, where we're carried in that beautiful province by Bell MTS Cable. Wilf says regarding these scoring streaks, and I want to get back on this. Thank you, Wilf, for getting us on point. He said regarding scoring streaks, they're interesting, but a little short of Gretzky's 51 game point streak. Probably never be broken. Yeah, but did we think his goals record would be touched? Really? Or his points record? I mean, I think at one time, and the stats nerds can correct me, I think he had 56 records in the NHL record book, Wayne Gretzky. I think it's 56 records. So he could afford to let a few fall. But yeah, these guys, and I just mentioned Jason Robertson and Mitch Marner. There are other guys, and there's teams. Seattle was on a 7-game win streak till Florida went in there and smashed them the other night. What's with this? The streaks. That's the thing this year. A couple of years ago, it was sending the puck out of play. Now it's streaks, and I think it's really cool.
It is cool. It is. And there's streaks all over the place. There's big winning streaks. There's big losing streaks. There's up and down point streaks. This is going to be maybe the year of the streaks. So let's see how long they go. I hope at least one of them, Marner or Robertson, continues on past that game.
That is the game of the night. And tomorrow. And by the way, Allie writes in, she says she's already nervous for it. Those games again tonight. I got to say this. Bruce Cassidy takes the Vegas Golden Knights into Boston. And I would not add, I mean, I haven't gone through a whole lot more different than anybody else, but in sports or life, but I have gone through it. So I think about, when Matthew Tkachuk went into the Saddle Dome last week, I knew how he'd be feeling going in there. I know what it's like going in someplace where things didn't end well, doesn't feel good. And it happens for a lot of teams. Look what Cody's going through here now. I know what it's like to be shown the door and lit on fire. You do survive, but doesn't feel very good. Bruce Cassidy, what's he thinking tonight going in with Boston? If I check the standings, whether they're number one in the West or not, they're close, Vegas, versus the number one team in the whole NHL, Boston. What do you think he's thinking tonight, Moose?
Well, I think he's thinking that, I'm doing pretty well for myself. And clearly he's not thinking you missed out because they've got a pretty good coach in Boston in their first place. And you can't argue that. So he can't be in there and be like, you guys shouldn't have gotten rid of me, because clearly Boston made a good move because they got even better. But Bruce is going in there being like, I'm a good hockey coach. No matter what you wanted to say last year by letting me go, I'm a good hockey coach. And I think everybody wants to beat their old team. Always. Right? So it'll be fun. I like that. And they're going to be really polite in the media because that's who Bruce Cassidy is. But he'll secretly really want to leave his mark on that game.
Well, and we'll break and come back and continue more of this. And I appreciate everybody's input in this. If he wrote it, I missed it. Our friend Ryan in Saratoga, New York, who is the biggest Devils fan that I know. He's been pumping their tires all year on their train, and he has to because he's their fan. But look at them. It's the Devils, the number one overall team in the NHL. It's not Boston anymore. And who literally saw that coming other than Devils fans? But we didn't see that coming. But I do advise people to back off the ledge. Like, look at the Winnipeg Jets fans and where they were on Rick Bowness, remember? Oh, Barry Trotz doesn't want to coach here, so we got Bowness. He's a sloppy second. Or look what he's doing. You know what? Like, just pump the brakes. I know nobody's going to listen to me, but if one of you does, I will have accomplished my goal. We'll be right back. Darrin Bauming is on the way. It's the RP Show, Game Plus TV. YouTube Live, your favorite podcast platform, and WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital Ford Lincoln. We have a great selection of brand new F-150s in stock. Drive it off the lot today. Reserve an incoming unit or pre-order the perfect vehicle for you. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital Ford Lincoln, making back to busy easy.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
To take your event online, Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right. Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
All right, we are back on the RP show, and I was hoping somebody would bring this up, and it's our guy Pinks who has. A lot of people came for the Cody Fajardo interview and stayed. They like what's going on here. Thank you. See you back here every day, 11 a.m. Central on the RP show, Game Plus TV, WQEE, where you can listen live or maybe the podcast or where you at. The Moose is with us. He's in Toronto. He is at the headquarters of Anthem Sports. You see Game Plus television right over his shoulder, the television network that airs us across all 10 provinces and 31 states. Moose, this came up, and we had not addressed this on the show yet. Pinks refers to Jack Edwards, the voice of the Boston Bruins. He says, will Jack Edwards have something very nice to say about Bruce Cassidy tonight? Now, I don't know if they got a history or not. I don't. But I kind of wonder why some people get away with things and others don't. And I just was informed about this on the weekend. Jack Edwards, the voice of the Bruins, made the joke about Patrick Maroon's weight of the Tampa Bay Lightning. And we know that he has a distasteful nickname with regards to his weight, Pat Maroon. It's sad when a grown man has to go through this, let alone a little kid, grown woman, anybody, you know. What was your take? It was something about how he was up a couple pizzas or something like that. Had you heard this?
I saw it. I saw it. And it was about, his diet and that he's a little overweight. I mean, he did try and save it at the end by saying, well, who are we to argue? He's won 3 Stanley Cups, blah, blah, blah. But it wasn't good. And Jack Edwards, I don't know if he's ever addressed it. I haven't seen him address it. I don't know if he's tweeted about it yet. Okay. Yeah. So at least he did that. But there's no place for that, right? For fat shaming somebody, whether they're a professional hockey player making millions of dollars or not. There's never a place to do that. Doesn't mean you can't have criticism or poke a little fun, but it wasn't just a one-off little joke. It wasn't a one-off. Like Pat Maroon said, he gets joked in the locker room and he's built a little bit of a personality around it or whatever. Like, I get it. But this wasn't just a one-off. This was in the middle of the play in front of millions. Pointing it out, it was not great.
Guy battles weight issues, and here's the voice of an NHL team making fun of it. I don't get it. But I'll never get it. I think about why some people get away with things and others don't. The Barflies watching, I think the Barflies is in Winnipeg, says Bruins play-by-play guys are the most team-biased in sports. And they're routinely voted in that athletic poll they do, the worst play-by-play crew in the National Hockey League, the Bruins TV guys. But I've watched the games, and I see him ripping the refs, and I'm like, how on earth does he get away with this? Only because if I said the smallest thing about officiating in my time, I was called into the office, given 40 lashes. What the hell's going on with him? He doesn't care? You know?
No, he's getting called into the office too. That's the side of it. Is if you looked at, the tweets that got sent around after the Pat Maroon commentary, it was ugly. And unfortunately, I think, you look at those backroom meetings when you get slapped on the wrist for things you say, the public never sees those. They never come out. It's all dealt with in private, and you never really know what somebody else has to put up with in a workplace. And so I imagine Jack Edwards has had a few of those meetings, whether it's with the radio station or the TV station or the Boston Bruins organization.
From Safe Moondog, that is an account watching on YouTube, says, didn't you guys call out Jack Edwards a couple weeks ago? RP show ahead of the game. No, it was Jack Michaels, and that's the voice of the Oilers. And trust me, I am not going to be the media watchdog of play-by-play guys. I am not. They're there. I'm not. It didn't look good. But I was particularly offended watching an Oilers game just a couple of weeks ago. I think I was in Calgary, and Jack Michaels made a joke. I was, because it was during the Canadian Finals Rodeo, which was going on down the highway in Red Deer, and Jack Michaels made a joke about the movie 8 Seconds, where bull rider Lane Frost was killed. And I made a note of it in my column. How do you make a joke about somebody dying and a movie being made about it? And again, maybe Jack was brought in and told no, but there was no apology issue that I saw. So I don't get it. Pink says,
amazing
by the way,
movie,
at what point? 8 Seconds, of course. Pink says, by the way, at what point does Nesson pull the plug on Edwards? He has had multiple comments that have got him in trouble. Well, I know that he's been suspended. I know that the Bruins guy's been suspended, but at some point you need to learn. By the way, a lot of people just tuned in. Our focus moving forward, for now, as long as us squirrels can stay on point, is National Hockey League and Canadian Football League, and it largely always was. But it's very hard to be here in South Florida and not get wrapped up in college football. And quite frankly, with the CFL being done, I don't want to sit here and talk about the carousel, the coaching carousels. Mind you, I see the Ottawa Red Blacks have named Baron Miles their defensive coordinator today. So there's that. If there's news, we'll say it. But to talk about the will they or won't they, I'm not here for that. College football is dang exciting. And I know it rates pretty low. It really does on Canadian sports fans' menu. But I will just say this. Georgia, Michigan, TCU, and Ohio State were selected Sunday to play in the college football playoff, giving the Big Ten multiple programs in the 4-team field for the first time. Again, for those that aren't following it that closely, Georgia, which aired on WQEE, this radio station on Saturday. What was it, 50-30? Rhino Radio? I think they beat LSU. I was watching it on TV, and I had it on, I was live streaming the audio too. So Georgia, Michigan, your team, TCU, the alma mater of Reggie the Reaper Hunt, and the Ohio State Buckeyes will go to the semifinals for all of college football. But that doesn't mean that my Alabama Crimson Tide have been shut out. Here's the 6 Bowls games for New Year's. Will feature the Orange Bowl, Tennessee versus Clemson, December 30th. The Sugar Bowl, featuring my Alabama Crimson Tide versus Kansas State, Roll Tide. Wait a minute, that's Texas. Hashtag Roll Tide. Tulane versus USC in the Cotton Bowl on January 2nd, and Utah versus Penn State in the Rose Bowl, January 2nd. I throw that out because you know what's going to happen. Canadians are going to be sitting around the television on those days with their pants undone, half drunk eggnog, and they're going to go, oh, Rod was talking about this. You know that's what's going to happen, right?
That's exactly what's going to happen, and we're all going to be here for it. And it's going to be it's the holiday tradition to flip on a bowl game, and lo and behold, when you've ate all the food and you've drank all the eggnog, and the pretzel bowl's getting low, and it's like 10, 11 o'clock at night. There's always a game on the West Coast, or Hawaii's playing in a bowl game late at night, and it's just starting.
And you watch it,
and you watch it, you drift off to sleep in the third quarter on the couch, and it's perfect.
Yeah, and I will say this, man, dyed-in-the-wool hockey guy. I'm not going to pretend to be like the football guys down here because they're real. They would sniff me out in a second. They think it's pretty cool that I worked in the CFL for 20 years, but I never played the game. I never stepped on the gridiron, so we're good. Back to where we all started this. So I never did I never did criticize football officials, and I can swear by that. If they're watching right now, they would say, no, Rod never did, because I never did that job either, and I wasn't comfortable in doing it. But in hockey, I played, reffed, coached. That way we're good. But when I spoke at the Canadian Football Officials Association banquet, one of them came up and thanked me. He was so funny. He's like, literally, thanks for not crapping all over us like everybody else. And I didn't have the heart to tell him why I don't. He says, I don't feel confident doing it, so no. By the way, in theaters now, Violent Night at your nearest landmark cinemas. When a team of mercenaries breaks into a wealthy family compound on Christmas Eve, taking everyone inside hostage, the team isn't prepared for a surprise combatant, Santa Claus, played by David Harbour. He's on the grounds, and he's about to show why this Nick is no saint. Violent Night. This better be a comedy. If this is a violent show, my mom once called CTV Regina because there was a Christmas show where, some movie, Santa Claus in a parade dropped the wreath and pulled out a machine gun and started shooting people. My mom called CTV. She's like, what the hell is wrong with you people? Yeah. That's Judy for you. The Jude. I'd have to mention this. NLL opening weekend, National Lacrosse League opening weekend. I want to mention it because we are fans. Halifax beat Philadelphia 18-8, and that one was on TSN Friday night, featured game. I was watching that streaming, by the way, and Halifax was scoring it well. Toronto beat Vancouver 19-8. San Diego beat New York 15-14. Albany beat Buffalo 11-10. Our Georgia Swarm, hashtag the Georgia Swarm, which is a suburb of Atlanta, Duluth, Georgia. They lost 16-11 to Rochester. And the Saskatchewan Rush, I don't know where this came from. They had their way with the defending champions, Colorado Mammoth 18-6. What do you know about that game?
I think it's a Jimmy Quinlan effect. He's got the reins all to himself, and unbelievable. Great way to start the season, and I think the Rush are back.
Good. Russia. It's rush hour. In Edmonton, Placeline, Edmonton. The Regina Pats attack was on full display Sunday afternoon as they closed out their trip out west with a convincing 8-2 win over the Edmonton Oil Kings at Rogers Place. During their 6-game roadie, the Queen City Kids went 5-1, and in Sunday's game, Connor Bedard scored his 27th goal of the season and tied his career high with 5 points. Again, the future here of this show's National Hockey League, Canadian Football League. Connor Bedard's going to be in the National Hockey League in a calendar year, less than a calendar year. I'm sure in Toronto his name hasn't come up, or has it come up? Has it come up? I'm sure it has.
Oh, yeah. It's coming up in this town, too. They're paying a lot of attention to what the young phenom's doing. And now the sports networks are even more, too. You're seeing it on the highlights and on their social media. Connor Bedard is making his mark.
Well, we're following it very closely. That's the one difference between this show and a lot of the others that you'll see in daytime sports. We're not going to sit and belabor and beat. We're not going to feed a dead horse.
Feed a fed horse.
Darren. Whatever the hell it is.
Feed a dead horse, too. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. We're not going to feed a fed horse here. You've got my thoughts on Connor Bedard. He should be traded. For whatever reason, he's not. And we'll move on. How about this one? Ted in Red Deer says, RP, you're down on Game Plus in Red Deer. And then says, wait, now you're back. LOL. Yeah, like I'm Jim Carrey, the cable guy. Cable guy? Like I can do something about it.
I like it.
Hang on.
I can't. What?
Let me go check the feed. It's like, what are you going to do? Leave the show?
Yeah. Wayne in BC says that movie doesn't sound like it'll be a Christmas classic. Well, go check it out for yourself and tell me. What was it? Violent Night. It does not sound like an eggnog-worthy kids show.
No.
Landmark Cinema. Hey, at least we're getting the word out there for him. That's all you can ask. Moose, do we have Darrin Bauming? Is he ready to rock? Okay. Moose, we'll see you back here for overtime.
See ya.
Okay. Really big day. Cody Fajardo last hour. A lot of fun NHL, CFL, NFL talk this hour. Actually, everything, huh? NLL, junior hockey, NFL, college football playoff. But NHL.com's Darrin Bauming from Winnipeg joins us next from Bonfire Sports. It is the RP Show on Game Plus TV, your favorite podcast platform, YouTube Live, and WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might injure your back in a way that causes nerve damage or partial loss of mobility. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might injure your knee, leading to joint damage or even a permanent disability. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
It is the RP Show, episode number 896 of your favorite live daytime sports talk show. Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, podcast platform, and your southern home of sports and talk, WQEE 99.1 FM. Keeping the party rolling. Darrin Bauming covers the Jets for NHL.com, the Blue Bombers, and all of Winnipeg sports for Bonfire Sports. He joins us from the Manitoba Capital today. Lots to unpack with Bomber. Let's bring him in. What's up, DB? How are you, brother? It's been far too long.
Roddy, I'm good, man. I'm good. Grey Cup week was exhausting but exhilarating, and now into hockey season full force here in Winnipeg with a pretty good hockey club.
Yeah, surprisingly so almost. Clark, do we have issues with the audio with Darrin, or is that just me? Yeah, absolutely. Something has glitched. We'll be right back. Well, I can hear you, Clark. Sorry. Pardon me. While we do that, let me just fire up the text line. If any of you people in Winnipeg want to send us a text message, 902-518-3033. Questions for Bomber. Or for that matter, Calgary. Dougal Cameron is watching on Game Plus television out there in Cowtown, and he says, "Hi, Rod. Love U.S. college football and the USC Trojans. Great organization on and off the field. Used to get their game tickets printed in Canada. True story." Yes, Dougal, you told me. I know that that's your business. Did they not lose Friday night, though? They did, right, to Utah? Anyways, I think we got him now. Bomber, sorry about that, dude. It was not terrible, but we can make it out now. I don't know what it was. The Jets. Go. Did you expect this?
Well, hey, it seems like the power of Rick Bowness and his new message and his new systems here in Winnipeg have really started to show. Last night, the Winnipeg Jets came down 2-0. They scored 5 unanswered goals, 3 in the third period, and were able to beat a team that has really been struggling this year in the Anaheim Ducks. A couple nights earlier, they allowed Patrick Laine to light them up on a place, on a sheet of ice where Laine has done a lot of damage in his career when he was a member of the Winnipeg Jets. But that team a couple nights ago was listless. The effort wasn't there. It wasn't consistent. What did Rick Bowness do following a 5-2 win last night in Winnipeg? He said, "I'm not a babysitter. These guys get paid to show up. And preparing them is on me, the head coach. But their passion for the game, you can't play this game without passion." That was the message from Rick Bowness following a 5-2 win for a team that is vying for first place in a ridiculously competitive Central Division. It's a great thing to see a coach put up or shut up. And even when his team comes away with a victory, say, "It wasn't good enough. We need to be better." So fascinating how tomorrow night, Tuesday here in Winnipeg, Rod, we're going to see Winnipeg's most recent head coach. Of course, Dave Lowry was the interim for the second part of last season, but it's the return of Paul Maurice with the Florida Panthers, who are a team that has been very, very good over the last couple NHL seasons, maybe not as dominant in the regular season as they have been, but it's going to be fascinating to see that, the yin and the yang that was Paul Maurice, and the players maybe running things in the locker room a little bit more to Rick Bowness and having those players much more accountable for their performance on a game-to-game basis.
Dude, this is why you are one of the best in the land. I just looked at it, and shame on me, as Florida at Winnipeg. End of a long road trip for the Panthers. The Jets will be favored handily. I hadn't stopped to think about Pomo's return to Canada Life Center. So how do we expect that to go? You've been around the guy a long time. What do you think he's thinking going in there?
Yeah, I mean, who knows what's actually going through his mind? What we do know about Paul Maurice is that he is one of the most charismatic, engaging speakers to the media, and even on a personal, one-to-one basis in the entire National Hockey League. He has been a coach since he was in his 20s, 28 years old, when injury didn't allow him to continue his playing career. Or 28 is when he had his first NHL job, and he's really kind of developed into somebody that continues to find opportunities. He is one of the longest tenured coaches in NHL history. He is amongst the NHL all-time coaching leaders for wins. He's also got more losses than any other coach in NHL history. And that's just, I think, a result of his longevity and maybe being in charge of some teams that were a little bit meddling at times. But he has shown the ability to get a lot of good out of his clubs. He has gotten teams to the Stanley Cup Finals. He's, developed personalities and leadership in locker rooms that I don't know if other coaches could. The reality is, at least from my perspective, and I'll be honest with you, Rod, the perspective of many, many watching closely here in Winnipeg, is that Paul Maurice lost the locker room in Winnipeg, and that, the guys in the room were maybe steering the ship when the captain, and I mean the head coach, not the actual captain of the team, should be steering that ship. The first thing Rick Bowness did when he arrived in Winnipeg was assess the situation and take the captaincy away from Blake Wheeler, who has been the captain of this team for 8 seasons. That's a big move for a guy that is the highest paid player on this team and clearly one of those, veteran, emotional leaders inside the locker room. It's worked out relatively well. They didn't even give Wheeler an A. They gave that to Josh Morrissey, Adam Lowry, and Mark Scheifele. 3 individuals, I think, who are very deserving of a C in itself. But the dynamic has changed. The accountability has changed. And the systems, you talk about the product on the ice, has changed dramatically here in Winnipeg. They activate their defense. They're involved in the offensive part of the game. They rotate forwards back when, say, Josh Morrissey or Neil Pionk engage into the offensive zone. Things are so much different, and we're seeing it pay dividends, not just in the win column, but also in the numbers that someone, say, like Josh Morrissey, has been able to put up this year. They're already starting to call him Josh Norris-C here in Winnipeg, and rightfully so. The offense is now there to complement his strong defensive play. It really has been a huge shift, Rod, from the Winnipeg Jets of the last number of seasons to the Winnipeg Jets as we see them today. Having Paul Maurice come here to face them head-to-head tomorrow night, it will be fascinating. I don't know what's going through Paul Maurice's head, but he's probably going to see a very different Winnipeg Jets team than the one, he left 12 months ago.
Different teams, save for Bones getting upset over at the last 2 games. The loss to Columbus and their start last night. So maybe they're creeping back into some old patterns. But John Ohm writes in and says, Pomo versus Bones. Stay tuned, Winnipeg Jets fans. Is that the marquee, man? Is there posters out there for these two? That's the story of the game, right? Like, they're talking about it already, Absolutely. Obviously.
Yeah, no question, because Paul Maurice did get this team to a conference final. And, a lot of people think if they were able to beat the Vegas Golden Knights a couple seasons ago, that they would have won the Stanley Cup. However, that didn't happen. And Paul Maurice, I think, was a polarizing figure amongst many, not I would say most, but many fans here in Winnipeg. They didn't like the way he ran defensive systems. They didn't like, some of the things that he did on the ice. Of course, it's only been 20-odd games for Rick Bowness. Fans are fair weather in their opinions, maybe not fair weather in how they support their team, but a passionate fan base here in Winnipeg, that conversation is always going to be sparked. But no doubt, we have to remember, Paul Maurice did something that few, if any, head coaches do in professional sports, and that is step down from a job mid-season. When's the last time a head coach quit on a team? Now, they maybe didn't frame it that way when Paul Maurice stepped down, but the reality is he said they need a different voice in the locker room. I'm not that voice. I'm going to step down and move on. Was that a PR move? Was that an optics move to say, no, we're not going to fire him, but Paul Maurice is going to step down? However you slice it up, he left the team mid-season. He's now got an opportunity in the Eastern Conference. Well, we'll see how Florida does down the stretch. But yeah, no doubt people are going to be, they're going to honor Paul Maurice on the Jumbotron Tuesday night at Canada Life Center in Winnipeg. No question. The Winnipeg Jets always do that, and it's an admirable thing when they do that for players and coaches and the rest. But no doubt there's going to be a little bit extra intrigue in this game for many fans that were either huge fans of Paul Maurice or critics of his.
Darrin, wonderful hit and update. I appreciate it, man. All the best at NHL.com and Bonfire, and keep in touch. Merry Christmas.
Hey, Merry Christmas. All the best to you guys.
Darrin Bauming joining us from Winnipeg. We'll be right back with Overtime, putting a bow on all of the great things we talked about here today. It is the RP Show on Game Plus television, available all across Manitoba on Bell MTS Cable. We're also on YouTube Live, your favorite podcast platform, and WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might fracture your wrist, resulting in a lifetime of painful arthritis. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca. You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might hit your head and cause a lifelong injury. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. BDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time. Big time. Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital Ford Lincoln. We have a great selection of brand new F-150s in stock. Drive it off the lot today. Reserve an incoming unit or pre-order the perfect vehicle for you. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital Ford Lincoln, making back to busy.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
It's Overtime. It's brought to you by the Four Seasons Sports Palace, your home for the UFC and the National Football League. Before we bring the Moose back on, a sports update on this Monday. The Toronto Raptors try to extend their home win streak to 4 games as they host the Boston Celtics Monday night. Toronto coming off a 121-108 victory over the Orlando Magic on Saturday. The Celts are 8-2 in their last 10, and they lead the NBA's Eastern Conference at 19-5. Here come the Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks are home to the Oklahoma City Thunder tonight. Former Blue Jay slugger Fred McGriff was elected into the Baseball Hall of Fame Sunday night. The first baseman, known as the Crime Dog, hit 493 home runs for 6 teams. He spent 5 of his 19 MLB seasons with the Toronto Blue Jays. He was with the Atlanta Braves for 5 seasons as well, from 1993 to 1997. He's originally from Tampa, Florida. The sports update for Kinsmen Tele-Miracle 47. We now have people driving into Saskatchewan to buy tickets. That's a fact. because you got to be in Saskatchewan physically and 19 years of age or older to purchase tickets at telemiracle5050.com. But I appreciate you all for doing that. We'll be making the draw 1 week from Friday, and the pool is at least $100,000, the pot. Okay, as we bring the Moose back in, if I may, Darrin Moose DuPont, this doesn't mean anything for the radio listeners on WQEE, but how do you like the background and the colors and so? I love that Dolphins teal. How do you like the look today, man? You're the boss.
It looks good. It looks good. You got some great lighting today. Everything looks awesome, and it's good having the backdrop up. So I'm a fan.
Glad to hear it. Colin in Ottawa writes in and he says, man, I'm not a soccer guy, but I love the pregame presentation for these major tournaments like the World Cup, choreographed so well for TV. I laughed because I'm like, I'm not. I was happy Canada lost out. If we weren't going to win at all, then let's get this over with. And then USA lost on Sunday. I think it was to the Netherlands. So it's like you're not hearing it down here at all. What about you're in Toronto, so maybe you are. What are you hearing up there about the World Cup?
Of course. Yeah, hearing about it. It's populating my social media feeds like crazy. So that's all really good. I figured out why it's so popular. You know, we get this perception of the 0-0 game, and it's long and boring, and there's no scoring, and this is insane. But they run 90 minutes straight time, and they have a little 10-minute break in the middle and maybe a couple minutes of stoppage time. The games are fast. Like, the games are done in 2 hours or less. And so of the major sports in the world, it's the fastest, shortest games. So now I'm understanding why it's so popular, because the games don't drag out. It's not like baseball where you have a 4-hour game, but that was always my perception. It was like, I'm not going to watch no scoring here for 4 hours. But that's not the case. These games actually go by really fast, and I've learned that watching the World Cup this year.
It's funny. Kirk Burseth is watching on YouTube. He writes that he says, why is no one talking about how good the Saskatoon Blades are? That's a good question. You tell me. But when you talk about those fast games, I will say this. Do you remember, you may or may not remember, it was a long time ago, when the Western Hockey League went to the fast face-off rule. And I think all of hockey brought it in, but it was the linesman's at the dot, no matter which one. He blows the whistle, and within 5 seconds, he's dropping the puck. He's got 5 seconds to drop the puck. And it really sped the games up. As a matter of fact, it took him from 2 hours and 40 minutes to like 2 hours and 15 minutes. And I'll never forget sitting with Jack Brodsky, the former owner of the Blades, in the stands at the Brand Center, the Agrodome in Regina. I'm going, Jack, this might have been after I left the Pats, so anytime after 2010. I'm like, the games are too short now, Jack. I mean, I came to the rink for some entertainment, and it's over before I sit down. And he's like, we just made these changes to shorten the games. We're not going to turn around and lengthen them. And I'm like, but that's me. That's me in terms of I just want to be in the rink. You know, they used to complain about the CFL games being too long. And I remember Corey Chamberlain going, why would you want to go home from the football stadium? You know what I mean? Like, so can't please everybody, I guess.
That's right. You can't. But, you know, they're trying. And I think keeping things moving, keeping it entertaining, that's always really important. And that's what the sports are trying to do all the time.
Yeah. And I kind of like, you know, we cracked the lid on this Monday with some changes to the look for me and you, and a little more focused, because we're going to be talking National Hockey League, Canadian Football League when it comes up. Last minute of play in the RP show. And I'm just not going to get going down the road of the World Cup and various fringe sports, I guess. It's like, do we have to wait another 36 years for Canada to be in this thing? I don't know. But it's the American way. I've always kind of felt that way. Ricky Bobby, if you're not first, you're last. And if we weren't going to the World Cup with the chance to win this whole thing, why are we going? And I know that's how the lesser also-rans in the World Juniors feel. That's not right either. I don't like that position, Moose. I like having the hammer, right?
That's right. Got to do something about it now.
All right, safe travels. The Minnesota Wild are leading the retro reverse pool, by the way. Can you please vote for those Dallas Stars? But overall, I don't really care. The LA Kings are going to win them all. Thanks to Cody Fajardo, Darrin Bauming, Clark for lining it up. Our whole crew. See you tomorrow, noon Eastern.
McFly, hello.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. Approved. I like it. Let's go.